Hey, everybody. I want to start today talking a little bit about the real winners of this election and the forthcoming Trump presidency, because when Donald Trump campaigned on Make America Great Again, millions, maybe tens of millions of Americans fell for the idea that Trump was going to be fighting for them. The forgotten working class, these small town Americans left behind by globalization and the elites of Washington, maybe the deep state, if that's your preferred flavor of conspiracy. But after the 4 chaotic years of Trump's first term, it is worth asking who really comes out on top of the Trump presidencies. And spoiler alert, it's not the everyday people wearing MAGA hats or showing up at his rallies. The real winners are going to be a mix of global strongmen, billionaires, industries that have played Trump like a fiddle when he has said that he has been fighting for the establishment. And yes, Vladimir Putin is on the list, not in a conspiratorial or cartoonish way. But we'll dig into that. It's fossil fuel executives, it's Kim Jong-un, it's weapons manufacturers, even though Trump claims to be anti-war. So let's get right into the list. And let's just get Vladimir Putin out of the way. Trump cozied up to Putin in ways that no other American president has done. Think of Helsinki, where Trump took Putin's word on over the word of U.S. intelligence. And it's not about a conspiracy of Trump being an asset or agent. You don't have to do any of that. You just need to look at the way Trump approaches these things. When you look at Trump's view on solving Russia-Ukraine, whether he will or won't do it, we will see. By the way, he said he would do it within 24 hours of becoming president-elect. It hasn't happened. In fact, we're seeing the biggest escalation yet from Putin. Trump favors Putin in the sense of saying, I'm going to be neutral, I'm going to be objective, I'll sit down with both of them and I will fix it, ignoring the reality that there is an aggressor and a defender here. That's already a gift to Putin. So it's not about shady backroom deals where Trump and Putin meet and compare sword sizes and to talk about favors. It's more subtle, but it's noticeable. And Russia's global standing may not have improved thanks to Trump's first term, but its ability to operate with impunity certainly did. The cyber meddling, the military aggression, the disinformation, and Trump turned a blind eye to it all, and he certainly will again. Kim Jong-un probably will benefit from another Trump presidency. Kim did get something that every dictator dreams of, which is to be legitimized and legitimated, both are words, check the dictionary, legitimized by an American president. Trump crossed the DMZ into North Korea. He said it was an honor to meet Kim. And meanwhile, North Korea kept building up its nuclear arsenal. Trump got no real concessions. Trump came away thinking he won, yet it was the same failed promises from former North Korean leaders. Netanyahu in Israel. Trump moved the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem, which was a long-sought goal of the more evangelical type Israel supporter. The Abraham Accords, great PR for Bibi, while the occupations that are so concerning to so many continued unchecked. Netanyahu got to frame himself as a global statesman while the scandals piled up. And now, thanks to Trump winning, it's going to mostly be carte blanche for Netanyahu. Mohammed bin Salman from Saudi Arabia, the de facto ruler who got away with murder literally in the case of Jamal Khashoggi. Trump refused to hold bin Salman accountable, boasted about selling weapons to the Saudis. Oil production cuts, no problem. Remember, while Trump was talking about lowering gas prices, he actually worked with the Saudis during COVID to limit supply in order to drive prices up in order to help the Saudis. And that actually goes to another benefactor of Trump presidencies, which is the fossil fuel industry. Climate rollbacks, yes. Withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement, yes. Maybe doing away with the $7,500 federal credit for electric vehicles. Looks like he wants to do it. The fossil fuel executives made a ton of money under Trump while we continued to fall behind on climate, and Trump wants more drilling on public lands and war, as he calls it. You name it, Trump wants to do all of it. Weapons manufacturers. Even though Trump claims he's the only real anti-war president, Trump pumped defense budgets to astronomical levels. It's funny now to see, as we talked about yesterday, Elon and Don Jr. and Cenk on Twitter talking about cutting the Pentagon. We saw a 21% increase. It was 4 successive increases in Trump's military and defense budgets, a little bit each year, totaling a 21% increase. More money for bombs, jets, and guns. We will likely see more deals with authoritarian regimes, including Saudi Arabia, and that also helps the weapons manufacturers. And then, of course, conservative Supreme Court justices win under Trump. Trump delivered a 6-3 conservative supermajority. If he gets 2 more, he is going to have 5/9 of the court be his picks, and reproductive rights loses, voting access loses, the court undoing decades of progress. And let's not forget that Mitch McConnell was the architect of much of it, but Trump was the figurehead. If we look at Trump's second term, communicable disease will be another winner. We know that Trump completely mismanaged the COVID pandemic, but now with the anti-science rhetoric, the undermining of public health experts, and attempting to bring in Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to run Health and Human Services, it's almost like communicable disease has a campaign manager here. And of course, there are concerns about measles. There are concerns about listeria through raw milk. I mean, it's a long, long list of stuff. Now, some honorary mentions of who else will win under Trump's second term. The QAnons and the conspiracy theorists, Trump mainstreams a bunch of their nonsense, although lately he's been doing a little bit less of it. The white nationalists, as you know, Trump didn't create white nationalism, but he certainly emboldened many of them. We recently saw more marches of white nationalists, and they're much more comfortable taking a megaphone and getting out on the street. And then to some degree, right-wing media figures, including Tucker Carlson, but also going beyond that. Trump skyrocketed their ratings, gives them access, interviews, content, etc., all while claiming that he's going to fix media and tell us who the enemies are in media, and so on and so forth. So there are going to be a lot of winners to this presidency. I should also mention the industry leaders from the industries that have donated bigly to Trump. It's quite a long list. But the story that the biggest winner under Trump is going to be the working class, the everyday folks. It didn't happen in the first term. If I were a betting man, which I'm not, I would assume it doesn't happen in the second term either. Well, I wrote a book after a long journey and a ton of work. I am really thrilled with how it turned out, and I hope you'll read it. The book is called The Echo Machine. And in a nutshell, it looks at how American politics got so broken, who has already figured out solutions, and how we can try to fix it and stop the terror of Trump for the next 4 years. With Trump winning this election, The Echo Machine couldn't be more relevant, not only a warning about how we got here, but also about what might be coming and how to prevent the worst outcomes. We've got to stay engaged. We need a plan, and that's what the book is about. There's a belief out there that unless you have corporate media behind you, you can't have a successful political book launch, that it's not possible. I think we can prove that wrong. Order The Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, anywhere that books, ebooks, and audiobooks are sold. You can also call any local bookstore and say, please order me The Echo Machine by David Pakman. Wherever you get the book, you'll get the free pre-order perks, including the signed book plate. Head to davidpakman.com/free book stuff after ordering.